Springtime is right around the corner, so today we're talking suspension. What are lowering springs? Are coilovers a good choice? Do I want to get air ride? Feel a little in over your head?
Whatever do you mean?
Well, you're in luck. This is Marvin with UroTuning. We are owned and operated by enthusiasts for enthusiasts, and we're here to bounce some information off of you. Make sure you don't bottom out. Unless that's what you're into. Don't forget, you can visit UroTuning.com to get the best mods for your car like suspension, wheels, tunes, exhaust, and even OEM replacements. And if you join our VIP, you get access to all the latest and greatest as well as exclusive sales that aren't just for everybody. Click the link in the description below. It won't cost you a dime to join.
This is sick!
You decided to take the big step, and it's time to lower your car. Tired of the monster truck life? But you're just overwhelmed with options? Want to get lowering springs? Maybe coilovers? How about air ride? What does it all even mean? First off, calm down. It's not that serious. Don't let it damper your day. Secondly, let's dive in and see exactly what suspension is and why it's so important and what options will be best to suit your specific needs. What does the suspension do for your car? A car suspension system consists of springs, shocks, control arms, sway bars, and many other parts that connect the vehicle to its wheels and allows movement between the two. So when you accelerate, brake, and corner, the suspension is putting in that work to keep things in order to prevent you from scraping the underside and causing a lot of damage. There are a bunch of things that you may feel are more important, like engine performance and aesthetic mods, but suspension is arguably the most important aspect as it will help you put that power down where it belongs.
Now that's how you're supposed to drive!
It's super important not just in racing applications, but daily driving also. All roads aren't created equal, so when you're daily driving, who knows what you may come across. If your suspension sucks, daily driving will be a nightmare. Come on, man, you deserve to have a comfortable ride, so don't cheap out and treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Now you're probably asking, why do people mod their suspension, and why is this such a popular first mod? Well, that's a complicated thing to answer since there are a lot of different reasons and everyone has their own goals regarding their vehicle.
What do you want? What do you want?
Depending on who you ask, the most common reasons are to be more aesthetically pleasing or for performance. Lowering a car lowers its center of gravity. So, in addition to looking better, it also means less body roll, which results in better cornering and more precise steering control. With all that out of the way, let's just dive right into it and see the 3 most common ways that people are modifying their suspension. Lowering springs are often looked at when people are considering lowering their car. Let's take a look as to what this entails and why it's even considered. Lowering springs aren't very complex in the grand scheme of things. They're a shorter spring that's used to replace the OEM ones your car comes with. Oftentimes, people will install lowering springs with their stock shocks and just send it from there. While this can work, depending on the state of your current shocks, this could speed up their end of life. So if you want to rock some lowering springs, then it's probably a smart idea to get some stiffer shocks like Coney or Bilstein to pair with them. Lowering springs typically come in 2 different flavors. You have your linear spring rate and your progressive spring rate. What does this even mean, you may be asking yourself? Linear spring rate means that they deflect force at the same rate because they are designed with equal distance between the coils. Progressive spring rate means the rate of deflection changes depending on compression because the distance between the coils is uneven. Which is right for you? Well, that depends. If you do a lot of street driving, the progressive spring rates are a solid choice since they're better equipped to handle bumps and rough roads. If you have a track-only car, linear is good because you're dealing with a well-maintained smooth surface with less surprises and ride quality is not a concern. It's a solid way to reduce wheel hop and improve overall traction. Of course, the trade-off will be a stiffer ride. Most lowering springs don't really allow for much adjustability, although there are some exceptions to this, such as KW, H&R, and MSS with their height adjustable springs. This is done with an adjuster that has been added to the spring and is threaded. It looks very similar to how a coilover is adjusted for ride height. Bust out your good old spanner wrench and get a new ride height in just a few turns. So why would you want to get lowering springs? First off, they're the easiest and most cost-effective way to get an OEM feel while lowering your car. The beauty in going this route is that they're fairly simple installation. Lowering springs are also great as they'll work with cars equipped with OEM adaptive damping shocks because you're just replacing the spring. There are a ton of great brands to go with, such as H&R, Eibach, Volkland, and so many more. Lowering springs sound pretty great, right? Well, let me bounce this one off of you. Coilovers. Now we're talking. Coilovers can be found on tons of different vehicles, from RC cars to everyday passenger cars, race cars, and 4x4 vehicles. The great thing about coilovers is that they allow adjustability. Unlike with lowering springs, coilovers are sold as kits to completely replace the factory springs and shock assembly. Don't like your current ride height? Need more ground clearance? Not a problem. It's adjustable. Some coilover kits even allow you to dial in the rebound and compression damping to fine-tune the suspensions even beyond just the ride height. They may seem a little more involved, but they do have their advantages. Adjustability is the biggest advantage hands down. When it comes to racing applications, coilovers are the go-to due to their tunability. Ground clearance is number one, but on some of the higher end models, you're able to fine-tune the damping and camber. Coilovers will also generally offer better handling than that of lowering springs, since the spring and damper are completely matched pair. KW, H&R, and Bilstein also make coilovers, and there are just a few names that come to mind amongst the many that fit the bill regarding tons of tunability. Personally, I'm really enjoying the SolarWorks coilover kit I'm running on my Mark 7 GTI. So now that you have some info regarding lowering springs as well as coilovers, what else could there even be? Don't let all this info shock you. Just take some time to absorb it all. To prove we aren't full of hot air, let's discuss what some people consider the best of the best: air suspension, also known as air ride. What is air ride? It's a suspension system designed to be a self-leveling system to allow continuous regulation of height from within the vehicle. This is done by replacing the springs with air bellows, also known as airbags, within a system composed of an air compressor, an air tank, manifold, air lines, and air struts. Let's take a ride back in history to see exactly how air ride came to be. In 1901, American inventor William Humphreys patented the idea of a pneumatic spring for vehicles. Fast forward to World War II, the US developed air suspension for heavy aircraft. The original purpose was to save weight with a compact construction. Airlift is a company created in 1949. They patented a rubber air spring that is inserted into a car's factory coil spring. These were in fact commonly used in NASCAR race cars for many years. 1960 comes around, and the Bogward P100 was the first German car with self-leveling air suspension. The technology has definitely been around for a while and continues to evolve. So why would you want to do this? Air ride is great because you literally get the best of both worlds. Pull up to the car show and air out the lay frame and turn all the heads. It's also a great way to be able to deal with obstacles on the fly. Need to raise up to get over a bump? Air up. Have your car loaded with a ton of stuff from the IKEA? Raise it up. Or even better, height-based systems will allow auto adjust to your ride height. These reasons are why air ride is so great. Literally raise or lower your car at the push of a button in seconds. You're probably saying to yourself, this is all well and good, but what if I want to daily my car? With all these components, is it even reliable? The good news is, yes it is. You can do it! Air ride can most certainly be used on your daily, but it's just like many other things. Maintenance is important. As long as you keep up with the routine checks on your air ride system, you can ensure the best experience you can enjoy with life on air. To sum it up, air ride, it's basically a combination of springs, coilovers, and then some. Set the ride height to factory levels and just drive, or set it lower and drive like you're on coilovers, and then park it, slam it to the ground, and leave everyone in awe. No other setup will allow this much suspension adjustability, which is probably why air ride has become so popular. All right, now that we've gone over the 3 different avenues of modding your suspension, let's review. Lowering springs are basically just a shorter spring than OEM, pretty simple to replace, and allow a subtle drop. Since it leaves the shocks in place, you get to retain your active damping system, if you have it. Many aren't adjustable except for a choice few, which allow you to raise and lower the ride height. That's pretty much it. Coilovers are the next up from the lowering springs. Adjustability is the name of the game here. Don't like your ride height? Raise or lower it to your liking. Higher end coilover models allow you to further fine-tune things like stiffness and camber. Since you're replacing the spring and shock assembly, the coilover system is designed to work in harmony as a perfect matched pair. Air ride is the creme de la creme of suspension mods if you're looking to easily lower or raise your car on the fly. It's the ultimate in adjustability. Literally change your ride height at the press of a button, giving you the flexibility to drive your car in any conditions comfortably and stress-free. And that's a high-level overview regarding different suspension setups when modifying your car. Whether you just want a lower or more appealing look or the ability to dial everything in to attack the track, there's literally something for everyone. The great part is you can get all this and more here at UroTuning. So go ahead and let us know what suspension you're running in your car, or if you have any other questions or have a topic you would like us to discuss, feel free to drop us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified whenever we come out with even more content. The next video may even be something that you asked for. Take it easy and happy modding.